Well, another session of inquiry and questions and answers. And just bear in mind, these are fairly informal sessions. So, you're just putting some ideas out, throwing some questions about what's happening for you in your practice or in your life, and I'll respond as best I can from what my experience is. And I may be wrong. Yeah. But I'll give you what I can. And so some of this, not all this, is going to be, it's just kind of like experience that I've sensed and discussed and looked into. No, it's not all kind of canonical, but I don't think I wouldn't adopt it if I felt it deviated from what the Buddha was saying. So how to prepare the mind and body for sleep? Well, I think he wants sleep to be a special occasion. Perhaps the last thing you do, or the thing you do because conditions require that, or for your health and well-being. And the number of hours you sleep, you don't really have to put numbers on it, because what is it? It's just another posture, another state of consciousness, another station of consciousness. So you might 3 or 4 hours here, a couple of hours there, a little nap there. You don't have to have a huge chunk in one shot, though you may. Now, I think the idea of the huge 8-hour chunk came from when work became more systematized, industrialized work, so that there was no chance to stop during the day, and you just keep going until you're exhausted, and then you've actually gone beyond reasonable energetic output, and so there's a kind of a crash that's needed to keep the system back. I don't think it's very healthy. So people say, oh, you need your 8 hours sleep. Well, you need your 8 hours sleep if you're doing that kind of job or work that has got that non-stop driven state to it. And it's unfortunate that we accept stress as a fact of life. You see the advertisements for today's stressful lifestyles. You need to buy one of these pills or medicines or drink plenty of water, rather than not have a stress-driven lifestyle, which would be the best idea. In today's busy world, you need to get your 8 hours sleep. Well, would it be nice to perhaps not to be so intensely busy? Because I think the 8-hour sleep thing is it's not optimal. Really, because when you sleep, this mindfulness is diminished. So ideally, you're in touch with your body and mind. If you've got the situation, then you think, oh, I'm feeling a bit tired now. Let's just sit back for half an hour. Let's just walk up and down. Let's just breathe in and out a little bit, or do some exercise and take an hour's nap. So you can play it around. The body does need to, its energies do need to be discharged. But you can do a bit of that. You can do when you're meditating, if you get it right. And then you might have just take times when you relax all your muscles when you lie down, and release. And so exactly how much you need is a matter of you finding out. I wouldn't be too clock driven by it or automatic about it. And so the more you can untether yourself from these automatic systems, the wiser and more in tune you'll be with reality, like, which is not a bad idea. I mean, like organic reality, living reality, not the crazy stuff they dish up. Stress reality. Okay, so that's my preamble. And how do you prepare the mind and body? Well, it's good to prepare the mind, thinking you're going into a sleep process, then you'll have much less mindfulness probably. And so it's good to, like closing down the system on a positive note. So just, clearing any negative influences as best you can, worry, regret, resentment, bitterness, when you can clear that, sharing of blessings, always good just to turn your mind to other beings in your life. So you kind of send your mind out to your field, your social field, and may she be well and may he be well, and well, I'm equanimous about him or whatever, So you try to clear, so there aren't these kind of negative influences in your mind when you go to sleep, when your mindfulness is less. So then they can kind of, give you bad dreams. And, I think there's real problems with negative mind states. I think they actually cause the body to generate negative chemicals. So the more you can get rid of those, the better your health will be on all levels. So that's your mind. Body, it's good to, I think, to stretch it before you go to sleep. Give it some light massage, stretching, yoga. So you really take as many of the kinks out as possible, even it up. And then when you go to your place when you recline, spend a few minutes, 10 minutes or so, just, finding a good position to just compose yourself. And then with a sense of kindness to the body. So then sweeping through your body up and down, goodwill, good energies through the body, calming it. So you're like tidying up your workshop. This is your workshop, this body, or you could say it's cleaning your tools after you've done some work. So then it's time to put them away. So that you end the day also with the recognition, if I do wake up, which we won't one day, I'll wake up, let's just establish mindfulness. Sometimes these last minute, deter resolutions can linger and kind of come in when you wake up. Person asks the next question. Could you explain again the axis and the heart line? What do they mean? Well, what I mean is the upright axis is more like a felt or a sensed or intuited or experienced. When you sit upright, it's different from lying down. When you sit upright, it's a different energy than if you're curled over. It's brighter, it's stronger, it's clearer. And so, same body, but upright means the muscles relaxed, more relaxed, and the body's more open. And there's a sense of an upright, that's what I call it, upright. And it's got a stability to it. And and then it seems to connect to what is observed in various cultures and sciences as energy channels that run along the spinal axis. So the spinal axis, not exactly the bones, but there is a spinal cord. So if you look at it very neurologically, within the bony structure, there's a spinal nervous cord, which has got a sac around it. And there's this stuff called fluid, like a cerebral spinal fluid that has its own oscillation. So in other words, the spine has got a particular, like something within it that has a particular life energy that oscillates. I don't know, forgotten exactly the number, like 12 times a minute or something like that, up and down. So it's like they call it the long breath, the long tide. It's much slower than breathing. And this seems somehow or another to moderate the nervous system. So that's just looking at it neurologically. Now, we also, say contemplate or recognize some of these Chinese skills and sciences. They call this upright axis, they call it the du, it's the du, governing vessel. And so this one you recognize, and you do various Chinese internal arts such as Tai Chi or Qigong or whatever, with this in mind. So it acts as your kind of upright channel, and then it becomes quite stable and invigorated. Yeah. So there's a couple, and then of course in Indian yogic culture you have the nadis and the channels that are also spinally oriented. I've forgotten the names of them. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I won't bother. Which again, two energies, channels running up and down the spine. So they seem to be talking about the same thing in different terms. And so when the Buddha says, sit with an upright spine, well, he's talking about something. He made a point. He was pretty minimalist what he's saying, but he's saying something that's, meaningful, because it seems to brighten the energy. And if you focus on, when he gave his teachings on mindfulness of breathing, he said, you go to a quiet place, sit at the root of a tree, fold your legs, and sit with the upright spine, knowing you're breathing in and out. So the only reference he makes to the anatomy is this upright axis, the spinal column. He doesn't refer to breathing through your nose or your abdomen or your belly. He just says, get that there and then be breathing. So this seems to be an important, accessory or feature of breathing in and out. You keep that spine upright. Now, if you do that, well, when I do that, I get a sense of breathing itself can be experienced as something that moves up and down. You can also experience this moving circular in and out, but there's an up and down sense to that, which again seems to track this upright energy channel. And so if you keep that axis in mind, my experience is, for what it is the breathing and the energy channel seem to merge. So your breathing strengthens your energy channel. And this is associated, again, neurologically, this is associated with calming the brain. We have various parts of the brain, and a very hyperactive part is called the amygdala, which is like an alarm button. And so that can get very hot when we're frightened, anxious. There's a lot of alarm signals going there. And of course, if that triggers, then you get various responses in an aspect of the brain called the hippocampus, which is immediate kind of reactive stuff. So this is the alarm bell. And they say, well, if you're doing breathing in and out, it calms, the vagus nerve calms this piece in your brain. So it cools you down, you know, keeps you steady. So there's certainly energies being talked about here, nervous energy. So the spine being the main conduit of nervous energy in the body, right? It connects the major energy nervous system of the brain, the heart, and the viscera, all plugged into this. So, right. So this is going to be about maintaining stability and steadiness and cooling and calming and you know, all that. And you can look at it for any of these particular sciences, and they'll go into it in their own details. And I'm saying, you know, that seems to back it up. But we don't need to go into those details necessarily, but just recognizing there is such a thing as an upright axis. And it does connect to mind states. That is, if our brain is calm, yeah, then you feel steady. You're no longer panicking, reactive. So the upright mind, which is straight, unbiased, not reactive, is associated with those qualities which are supported by the upright axis of the body. Long story, isn't it? Basically, bring it together. Upright body, upright mind support each other, bring a sense of calm, stability. Now, the heart axis or the heart line, which I referred to, is, you know, it's so obvious and so basic that we associate the heart with emotion. Everybody does, right across the cultures. And they say, you know, my heart ache. She broke my heart, died of a broken heart. My heart jumped with joy, right? What's this lump of flesh inside your chest got to do with that? Well, maybe it does. Heart, you see the heart, that lump of flesh is not just a pump. It doesn't have the strength to pump blood around the body. You can't do it. You couldn't do it. The blood is pumped around the body through the heart, the veins, the arteries, everything supports it. So the heart can't do it alone. But a lot of the heart tissue is neural tissue. It's nervous tissue. So it's got intelligence. You know, we think the intelligence is up in the brain, but the heart has an intelligence. So it's not just a blood pump. It doesn't have the capacity to pump blood around its body on its own. It can moderate the flow of blood. It's a moderator, and it moderates things in accordance with its intelligence, which comes from its neural tissues. So it's obviously sensing what's happening in this body, you know, what's going on here. How am I feeling? You know, so it's that, right? And it, you know, you can look at some of these people who study these things, Heart Math Institute, you can look on their website, and they're saying, yeah, they find these energies, they've been tracking these energies are streaming out from the heart, linking up to the brain. It's a connector, and it also, they can detect these electrical, bio, or, you know, biological energy streaming out from the heart, sensing around it, I think up to 10 feet or something. So there's an energy field coming out there. And it's not about my stability, but about my relationship. How am I with this? How am I with my body? What's happening there? How's the fear? How's the joy? It's moderating emotional tonalities. And emotional tonalities are our primary signals for action. We're not rational beings. We're emotional beings that have managed to organize our emotions into rational packaging. Right? Got a kind of like an extra monitor on top that does some rational tweaking and verbalizing, but we're fundamentally, at a very basic level, we're emotionally driven creatures, which means we're joyful, we're frightened, we're angry, we're peaceful, we're loving, yeah, and so on. And that's kind of what's going on for us, because the heart is feeling those things, because it's sweeping around. It's important to discern